Hello everybody, this is Tytar Jr. again. So now we're going to be making a video, I'm going to be making a tutorial that is, on a new system that I'm working on. So this is going to be the custom resources building. So Warcraft 3, I'm sure you guys are familiar, requires gold and wood. This is going to be a very custom, in this game anyway, this is going to be a custom building system where you can use different resources to build different types of structures. And so in this video, I'm going to show you what it's like to collect resources in this game and then to be able to build a structure as a result of that. So things have changed a little bit since last time we looked at this map. So if you've seen these other videos, and if you haven't, just go ahead and give those other videos a watch so you can catch up to where we're at. So today's video, I'm just going to go ahead and test now. And we're going to let it load. And while it's loading, I'm just going to say real fast that I haven't posted a video in a little bit because I was working on a very, very big personal project. I was able to get it done. And so now that it's done, I'm going to be posting more regularly again. It's going to be Warcraft 3 content, different gaming content as well. So stay tuned for that. If you guys like what you see, go ahead and like and subscribe. So let's let this continue loading, and then I will show you what it is that this will look like. There we go. So because we're in the test phase, we jump past the tutorial. So in order to cut these trees, if you guys remember from previous videos, we need to have the gatherer suit. So in order to have the gatherer suit, we need to unlock it, but I don't have the quest or anything built, so we just have the item right here, because otherwise I cannot cut these trees. So I'm going to go ahead and get the suit. And it allows me to unlock the suit. Now I have the harvester suit, so I can go and harvest resources from the open world now. These are oak trees. Now I'm going to type in the cheat code for one shot, one kill. It doesn't work on trees. It works on the animals, so that way I don't have to punch a sheep to death 5 different times. So I have them dropping 3 at a time, so that way it can go a little bit faster. But as you can see, I am collecting oak logs. Let's take a look at our inventory though. Let's see how that's affecting that. So if I press the right arrow here, this is the inventory screen. This is the new improved inventory screen. What's going to happen is these inventory slots are all going to be here, these circles of power. But once you discover the resource, they're going to go away and the resource will stay there. But right now I'm just, populating it so I can test it. But as you can see, I have 3 oak logs right now. And for wool, I have 0. So I've got 3 and I've got 0. Now, actually, let me go back to my inventory and I'll switch suits. Now, normally, this is not the suit that's going to be doing the building. This one is the kind of civilian bartering sort of suit, and it'll have abilities like that. But I have the testing built in for building purposes here, so I don't have to build the whole builder suit programming yet. So build a tent. Primary survival structure, use it to sleep, restore health and energy, and build additional buildings from it. Requires level 1 builder suit, 10 oak wood, and 5 wool. So let's go ahead and switch our suits again. There we go. So now we have our harvester suit back on. And let's start collecting some more wood. And we have different types of wood. There's going to be 4 softwoods and 4 hardwoods in the game. And there's different rarities, and they're going to be randomly occurring in the game. And have random spawn times and things like that in different locations. So that way it never gets predictable. But yeah, oak will be the base hardwood for structures, and that's why you need 10 in order to build the tent, which is the primary structure you build for your starter city. And so now in order to kill these sheep, you would need the hunter suit, but of course I don't have that right now. I might add later that you can just, slay them in whatever suit, because that might get annoying after a while, just being able to slay an animal. But there we go. So we got some wool there. And let's go ahead here. Now, when it comes to the sheep, down the road, I'm going to add where you slay all the animals if you want their meat, but when it comes to sheep, it drops wool every time you deal damage to them. And then if they end up dying, you lose your sheep. But otherwise, you can continue to harvest them, and once they heal up, you can, re-harvest from the sheep again. So let's check our inventory. Let's make sure we have enough resources. We should. So I'm checking now. We got 12 oak logs, and then for wool, we have 6 out of 5. So let's exit now. And then we're going to go ahead and build our tent. What is the name of your city? Now, unlike the previous video where you choose your name, it's cinematic, it pauses the screen and everything. This does pause it, but it's not as pretty because there's not going to be a yes or no, are you sure type of box. I just wanted to do it fast for testing. So we're going to call this, from Super Smash Brothers, Smashville. Your town's name is Smashville. And so right now, this is not working, the next part, but basically I'm going to have it where a region that's invisible moves to where you build this, and when you enter the zone, it'll say, welcome to Smashville. And that's not working right now, but that is something that's going to be there in the future. And down the road, other features I'm going to add are going to be, different add-ons that you can add, stuff like that. Animal pins and things like that. And this will eventually be where you can build other structures around the tent specifically and start creating a little town while playing the main game, which is also a quest-based game and stuff like that. So there's a lot of potential here for sure. So let me show you how I did this. Let's exit here. And that will be today's video. I will show you how exactly this was made. So we're going to go to our trigger editor, and let's do this first. So the first thing I want to point out is the inventory. So don't pay attention to this one, so I'll read it out there. So this one is called slot wool. So the trigger works like this. So there's the event, the condition, and the action, much like other triggers are. A unit acquires an item, and then the condition is the type of item being manipulated, aka the item that's acquired, which is item being manipulated, is equal to wool. That's the item. So that's all I did there. Okay. And then I go into an if then else statement. So the reason I do this is because when you're over here and you're looking at this wool, let me go ahead and select it. So when you have it saying just wool, that's technically a 0 charge. So there's a number of charges, and that's how I'm keeping track of how many the player actually has in their inventory. And when it's just standing there, it counts as 0. And so that's why I have this condition. So if the charges remaining in this display, this wool item here, are equal to 0, then I need to set the charges remaining in this sheep, this wool, to, you do arithmetic. So you see I have arithmetic selected. Charges remaining in wool 0232, which is this guy here. And then we're adding charges remaining in item being manipulated plus 1. So what that's essentially saying in English, when it's 0, we're setting the remaining charges, which is the total count, to whatever this balance is, which is 0, and then plus the item being manipulated, which is the item we're picking up, and then plus 1. So that way it would go to 2 charges if the other one has 1 charge, if that makes sense. Now, I haven't done extensive testing on this, but it seems like it's working so far. It could be slightly off, but I do believe that this is working. And then after 0.1 seconds, we are removing the item being manipulated because Warcraft 3 has a 6-slot inventory system. If you look at my mouse, the 6-slot inventory system is somewhere right around here, but that system is terrible. I'm not sure why they haven't expanded on that in the World Editor, and that's why you see me doing this inventory system, because this is significantly better. If I could do a UI type of thing like that, I would, but it's pretty advanced to do something like that. So we have the if, the then, and then what happens if it's not at 0? What else are we going to do if it's not 0? So if it's not 0, we're setting the charges of this guy, and then we're adding the charges remaining from the item being manipulated. So the item we're picking up, we're adding those amount of charges to this right here. So essentially it's just adding +1 each time we do it. So that's how that works. And then we remove the item. The same goes to slotting the oak wood. It's the exact same thing. It's just for the oak logs. There's no difference in the trigger. It's just the oak logs itself. Now, if you're curious how items drop, here's how I did that. I go ahead and press D for doodads. That's the trees. And there's general and then items dropped. You can go ahead and select all doodads and then double click. Items dropped. And you can do item table from map, or you can use custom item table and basically you just do new set and you choose which item. There's a 100% chance of that item, or you can change the chance. And that's essentially how I'm doing it, because if you look, let's go to doodads here. There's a 100% chance to get an oak, a 100% chance to get oak, and a 100% chance to get an oak, which means you get 3 oak logs. That's essentially what I did. And there's a trigger for this drop. That way, if I have a trigger down the road where I have these sheep randomly spawning in somewhere else and then they roam the map, I have it where, because how do you make something drop if it's not spawned into the map yet? Well, you just do this. So in my drops folder, I have one called sheep. A unit dies. Dying unit, this is the condition. The type of dying unit is equal to a sheep, which is these guys here. Wait 0.5 seconds, and then you create wool at position of the dying unit. And the dying unit is the sheep. So therefore, it creates a wool at the dying unit location. Therefore, it looks like a drop. And that's how you do that. And now let's go to the builder. So we have build tent. This is where the custom triggers for the inventory really comes into play here. So we're going to do an event condition in action again. And this might be kind of technical, but just hang with me. I promise you it'll make sense if you just listen and kind of follow along. So we have a unit owned by player 1 red, which is the main character of the game, begins construction. Unit type of constructing structure, meaning the building that we're starting to build is equal to a tent. Okay, that's simple enough. Then what do? We do an if then else statement. So if both of these conditions are true, meaning this and this are true, then we follow through with these. So if the charges remaining at oak 240, which is this guy right here, I believe. Let me see if I can select him. I'll move that out of the way for now. That oak wood, which is 240. If the charges remaining are greater than or equal to 10, meaning if you have 10 or more, because it requires 10 if you remember, and if the wool is greater than or equal to 5, then we're going to change the ownership of constructing structure, because we don't want it to be player 1 red, because all of my triggers have been built around selecting the only red player unit in the entire map as a reference point. And that might not make sense, but if you change it to neutral passive, then I don't have to go through and change all these other triggers where it refers to a random player or random unit owned by player 1 red. Because you can see here, position of random unit from units owned by player 1 red. If I'm on the other side of the map, it could accidentally send it to the tent if it's player 1 red, if that's the ownership there. So that's why I'm changing it to neutral passive and changing color, because passive, it's not going to get attacked by anyone or anything because it's neutral passive. No one attacks that. Set charges remaining in the oak 240, which is this guy here. Changing it to minus, or the charges remaining minus 10. So it's basically subtraction. Same thing with the wool, minus 5. And then we make the tent unavailable for training / construction by player 1 red. So I just did player set training / construction availability of unit unavailable, because I don't want them building multiple tents across the map. I want that to be their main hub, like their home, their main structure. Now, this is why I don't know why this is not working, because I region move and it moves the region to the position of, player 1 red when they're building it, but I'll figure that out later. Then it says, it displays a message, game text message auto-timed. What is the name of your city? And then pause the game, turn on town name. And before we go to town name, I just want to show you this else. Basically, it says if it's not greater or equal to 10, and it's not greater than or equal to 5 for the oak and the wool, what am I going to do? So that's what the game is asking you. Change ownership of the constructing structure to neutral passive, because the unit is still going to be there even if it's invisible. So make it neutral passive, and then we're going to hide the constructing structure, so that way the thing goes away, and then display not enough resources. That's what it displays if it doesn't build. Okay. Now, if you guys are replicating this at home, not sure how many of you are, or how many of you are kind of watching this just to kind of get the hang of things, just to see the logic behind things. I can say that I haven't built in the condition yet, because if you don't have enough resources, it'll then ask you the town name anyway. It's a small glitch I have, so just FYI. And in the next video, I'll probably have that fixed. But for the town name, it turns this trigger on. And so basically, now that this trigger's on, the player just types something, and that will be the name. Eventually, I'll add all of the bells and whistles that I added at the very beginning of the game in that other video. I'll have the link in the description, where basically the player types in their name and they say, "Are you sure that's your name?" Because there could be a typo or something like that. I don't have that now because I was just testing. So the event is player 1 red types a chat message containing empty string as a substring. And then we do set name of this unit. I have this dummy unit here, so we can change the name of it to whatever the entered chat string is. And we just do a substring of entered chat string and then 1 and 15. So that way you can do up to 15 characters. And then we display to all players the concatenate strings. Basically, that means that you can do multiple strings together. So the first string is your town's name is spacebar. So that way there's a little space in between this and the next one. And then look, it is the name of marker come here 0048. And if you look, we also have a period at the end on the next one. And if you look back here, we set the name of it to whatever we typed. And so it says when your town's name is name of this guy, all of a sudden it's what you typed. So then we unpause the game, because back here, we also paused the game. We pause the game, that way the player can't just forget about it and not type in their town name. So we unpause the game after they successfully type something in, and it says, turn on welcome to your town, which is not working currently, but basically if you enter the region, it says welcome home to this region. And then it's going to say, yeah, it already says it right here. So in short, I know that's kind of a lot, and I was covering it kind of quickly, but in short, this is a general idea of how the building system is going to be working in this game. You're going to go around collecting different resources, and then you're able to build different structures, and not just structures, but different items and different abilities, things like that. And we have all of these different suits here, which is what's really, really cool. You're going to have your main civilian outfit for bartering and buying properties and things like that in main cities. And then you have your harvester suit for collecting ores and wood. And I haven't decided if I want to do fishing for that one or not, but probably do fishing on the hunting one. This is going to be the builder suit, where you can build different structures and repair things. It'll be really, really cool there. This will be your hunting suit. This will be your magician suit, your combat suit. And then if you complete all the quest lines, then you get the extra cool combat suit at the end. So hopefully this video was useful. I just wanted to give a quick update on the progress of this game. Working title right now is Hero Quest. Not sure if that's what's going to be in the end, but things are looking really promising with this game. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or ideas or suggestions. but there's a lot of work I still have to do on this game. Take a look at some of my other videos too. And like I said, in the future, I'm going to be posting other game content as well, not just Warcraft 3 tutorials. So until next time, guys, I will see you soon.